P3. Choosing a refuge, buying a bunker, rush security modifications. Next was finding a place where I could safely wait out the apocalypse. I pulled out my phone and searched for houses in upstate New York. I thought, if I could get far enough from Manhattan, to a sparsely populated area, maybe there would be fewer zombies. I opened an app and looked at upstate New York properties. Unexpectedly, I saw an abandoned military bunker for sale. I decided to buy it immediately. The bunker was spacious, cool in summer, warm in winter, and cheaper than a small villa upstate. I contacted the seller right away, said I wanted to buy it now, and needed to see it immediately. To avoid attracting attention, I lied, saying I wanted to develop it into a weekend getaway B&B, and that it was a secret project he must not tell anyone. The seller, seeing how decisive I was, sincerely promised he wouldn't let anyone else know. Soon, we signed the purchase contract. There were now 29 days until the zombie outbreak. Safe house secured. Now it was time to fill it. I began stalking my bunker. I was terrified of anyone finding out my address, so I contacted a large renovation company in NYC but asked them to keep it confidential. I told them my requirements: replace the bunker door with the best security door available, with 3 layers. I wanted them to build a 2-story small villa inside the bunker, finish all the hard construction within 10 days, using the best workers. The man looked confused. I lied again, saying I was building a private luxury hotel to protect guest privacy, and I was paying a premium. That shut down any further questions. The guy just smiled and said, "Rich people sure have interesting hobbies." P4. Frenzied stockpiling, buying everything, securing the foundation of survival. I had died early in my past life, so I didn't know how long the zombie apocalypse would last. To ensure I could survive comfortably, I began buying in massive quantities. The power would surely go out during the outbreak. I immediately ordered 50 solar batteries. Cooking was another problem. I bought 100 propane tanks and stoves. To be safe, I also bought 50 boxes of charcoal. The bunker was still under renovation, so for now I focused on buying daily necessities, self-defense items, and entertainment. I sat in my room and thought about what else I needed. Toilet paper, it vanishes without you noticing, 2,000 rolls. Sanitary pads, 200 boxes. Since I wouldn't be going out once the zombies came, I bought 5 sets each of spring, summer, fall, and winter clothes. Underwear, socks, laundry detergent, toothpaste, toothbrushes, shampoo, body wash, face wash, skincare, 3 years supply of everything. I looked at the list in my memo app and fell asleep peacefully. I planned to go straight to the U.S. food service wholesale market the next morning. On the 3rd day after my rebirth, the first thing I did upon waking was check my phone. I was still terrified that this rebirth was just a dream before death. Seeing the date on my phone, my heart settled. I got dressed quickly. On the way to the wholesale market, I passed my usual breakfast spot. I went in and ordered my favorite breakfast. I wouldn't get to eat this many more times. I hurried to the U.S. food service wholesale market and bought everything on my memo list, asking the vendors to deliver in a week. Seeing how much I ordered, their smiles never faded. Just as I finished buying everything, the real estate agent called. "Hello, Ms. Chen, we've found a buyer for your apartment." The agent's voice was excited. "Can they pay in full?" That was my main concern. I knew apartments in Manhattan sold easily, but I needed cash now. The agent's voice grew even more excited. "Yes, the buyer we found can pay the full amount in one go." I breathed a sigh of relief. "Good. You handle the rest. I'll move out of the apartment within a week." After hanging up, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Chloe, you don't think taking a few days off will get you out of my reach, do you? I know your home address. You'd better come back soon. Without you, we have no one to have fun with." I didn't need to guess it was Jared. Maybe it was a physical fear reaction, but my hand holding the phone trembled. He said he knew my address. I couldn't hide anywhere else. Remembering the safe room the school arranged in my past life, an idea formed. I'd go back to school in a couple of days. In those 2 days, I dealt with the apartment. It was sold, and I stayed at a hotel. Then I brought some things back to Lincoln High. Sure enough, as soon as I walked in, I got Jared's welcome ceremony. A pile of trash fell directly on me from above the door. No one helped. They even laughed. They mocked me, enjoying my embarrassment. I clenched my fists. Bear with it a little longer. Their comeuppance is coming soon. I walked to my seat, and just as the bell was about to ring, I grabbed my backpack and left the classroom. I knew they would tell the teacher, but I didn't care. I went straight to the so-called safe room, actually the school auditorium, temporarily set up by the National Guard. After setting it up, they had left to rescue others. I walked into the auditorium. It was moderately sized. In my past life, only about 80 people from the whole school survived. Many teachers ran home for their families and turned into zombies on the way. Some teachers stayed to help the National Guard maintain order. Scenes from the past life kept flashing in my mind. This was where they pushed me out. I opened my backpack and took out 10 hidden cameras. I installed them in various, concealed spots. Satisfied, I left the school. As soon as I stepped off campus, the contractor called, saying all the work was finished and cleaned, waiting for my inspection. Because I paid so well, everyone worked efficiently. Money really is great, I thought. I called the owners at the wholesale market and told them they could deliver tomorrow. The owner, recognizing my voice, eagerly agreed. Next came stocking up. I first went to Home Depot and bought a lot of soft furnishings. The money from the apartment had come through. 1.7 million. I could spend freely to meet my needs. Sofas, beds, the best. Then I went to Best Buy and bought 2 laptops, 3 tablets, and 50 power banks. After that, I took a taxi straight to the bunker. Stepping inside, I had to admit, money really can buy anything. I was extremely satisfied. I gave each worker an extra 1,000. They seemed a bit embarrassed, saying it was just their job. Watching them, I couldn't help but add casually, hey, with all these pandemic surges lately, you should stock up on supplies at home. You know I heard cases are spiking in the neighboring state. I couldn't save everyone. In my past life, they killed me. In this life, I had to protect myself. After the contractors left, the wholesale and furniture deliveries arrived. Seeing my huge order, I used the same excuse to brush off their questions. Everything was moved into the bunker. Looking at the room filled with furnishings I loved, I felt a sense of peace. 10 days until the zombie outbreak. Now I needed to buy food that would keep for a long time. Vegetables could wait a few days. As I went down the mountain, I noticed 2 small dogs following me, wagging their tails. They looked sturdy and cute. Adopting them might be nice, they could add some joy to life. I waved to them, and the 2 little guys trotted over. One was white, one black. They were so small I could hold one in each hand. After settling them in, I headed straight back to the Bronx Farmers Market. This largest farmers market had everything, all kinds of food. Most importantly, no matter how much you bought, no one would find it strange. Perfect. I bought 50 boxes of instant noodles, 100 cases of soda, 10 boxes each of various canned goods, 100 bags of rice, 50 jugs of cooking oil, 10 boxes of assorted dehydrated vegetables, 20 bottles each of various seasonings, and plenty of flour, noodles, peanuts. Also my favorite snacks, 20 bags each of soy milk, black sesame paste, milk, yogurt, 10 boxes each of chocolate, nuts, sunflower seeds, chips, chicken feet, jelly, pork jerky, beef jerky, spicy sticks. For the 2 dogs, 50 bags of 20 pounds dog food, 20 cans of goat milk powder, 5 boxes of assorted dog treats. Watching the vendors fill 2 large trucks for me, I was overjoyed. I had the drivers deliver directly to the bunker. Using the same excuse, they didn't ask questions. Watching all the goods arrive, my heart finally calmed. Looking at the tightly shut door, I thought about installing some cameras outside, just in case. I got to work. After sorting everything, I lay down on the bed, finally able to catch my breath. While I still had power and internet, I subscribed to all the streaming services and downloaded my favorite TV series and American shows onto my laptops, tablets, and USBs. Just as I was about to fall asleep, my phone rang. Jared's number. Expressionless, I answered. A contemptuous laugh came from the other end, as if showing off, see, I told you she wouldn't dare not answer. I stayed silent. The voice grew more unhinged. Chloe, did you forget the message you sent me the other day? Did you fucking forget how much it hurts to get hit? I listened quietly, my hands clenched into fists, but reason told me now was not the time. Striking when they are truly desperate, that is the best choice. When I didn't respond, Jared became flustered and angry. Did you forget I still have something on you, bitch? At that, I couldn't hold back any longer. I shot back, Jared, did you forget you're already 18? Everything you've done, if I call the police, you'll be legally liable. My voice was firm and strong. Jared was a repeater. He should have been a senior, but his grades were so poor he was held back, then took a year off to save face. So at 18, he was still a freshman. Hearing my words, Jared stammered, but to maintain his pride, he yelled back, bitch, who do you think you're talking to? I laughed coldly. Do you want me to send your photos to the class group right now? Go ahead. See you at the police station. Then I hung up. He wouldn't dare send them. Someone who only bullies others is terrified when threatened themselves. He knew full well he was 18. I was sure he would be too scared to release anything. Jared had photos of me. They had called me to the bathroom, beat me repeatedly, tore open my clothes, and took pictures of me in my most vulnerable state. Back then, I couldn't fight back. I endured silently because I had no family left. Now that the zombies were coming, I feared nothing. Thinking of that version of myself, tears fell. The 2 dogs seemed to sense something and came over to gently lick my face. Maybe with their company, I quickly fell asleep. When I woke up, it was time for the final round of purchasing. Again at the Bronx Farmers Market, I bought a whole cow, 2 pigs, 30 chickens, 20 ducks, and various frozen fish, shrimp, and frozen foods. After delivery, looking at the 2 massive freezers packed full, my heart was deeply content. The remaining days were a waiting game. On my second day holed up in the bunker 5 days before the outbreak, my homeroom teacher called. I hesitated, then answered. She asked cautiously, Chloe, are you feeling any better? I knew she worried I hadn't recovered emotionally. I touched my nose and replied, I'm much better, but I'd like another week off. I'll study at home on my own. Hearing that, she quickly said, No, Chloe, I care about your well-being, not your grades. It's not too late to study after you've sorted yourself out, right? Her caring words made my nose sting. Since my father died, no one had cared for me like that. Relatives only feared I would become a burden, they all kept their distance. With a nasal voice, I said, okay, teacher. I'll manage my emotions on my own. She breathed a sigh of relief and said gently, then rest well at home. You can talk to me if anything's wrong. I'll hang up now. Wait. I quickly stopped her. What is it? I stammered, teacher, with the pandemic resurging lately, it's best to stock up some food at home. She chuckled softly. All right, I will. After hanging up, I looked at the remaining cameras. Even though my fortified door was strong, better safe than sorry. I decided to install them outside the entrance to monitor the door around the clock. I went outside with 2 cameras, the 2 little dogs trotting behind me. After installation, I checked the supplies again and realized a huge problem. I had no water storage. I felt like screaming. Looking at the empty land around, I wondered could I dig a well. I immediately called the contractor. He said yes, and it would only take a day. With the outbreak only days away, I offered a high price to get him there immediately. 3 hours later, the contractor arrived with his equipment, grinning. This machine is fast, but it's loud. I said quickly, no problem. Just do it. I'm in a hurry. Noise doesn't matter. He got to work immediately, and I watched. I have to admit, heavy machinery isn't just fascinating to girls too. The 2 dogs, startled by the loud noise, ran inside trembling. At 11:30 p.m., I saw water bubble up from the well and laughed with joy. The contractor even thoughtfully lined the well with stone and set everything up. I paid him extra. He smiled, waved, and left. After he left, I lived freely in the bunker. Steak one day, lamb leg the next, utterly comfortable. As time ticked down, though, fear crept in. Even having experienced the zombie massacre once before,